Dear rectors and deans, dear professors, dear organizing committee, dear participant, I'm very happy to participate in the 21 International Balkan and Near Eastern Congress Series on Economics, Business and Management held Bulgaria to 16-17 March 2024. I want to express my best wishes to the staff of the universities and faculties, as well organizing committee for the organization and development of this conference, from the staff of the Faculty of Economy and Agribusiness of the Agriculture University of Tehran. The study that I will present at this conference is the impact of good governance on economic development and empirical analysis for Albania. The study is prepared by Ilir TOMORRI, Remzi KECO, and Joana, SHIMA. The structure of this presentation is introduction, purpose and objectives, methodology, result and discussion, and finally, conclusion and recommendation. Sustainable economic development is one of the main goals that must be achieved in developed countries as our country. The achievement of these objectives is a complex phenomenon that must be seen in a broad context, including its economic, financial, social, institutional, and environmental dimensions. Albania faces important challenges such as the implementation of structural and institutional reforms, rule of law, economic growth, macroeconomic stability, citizens' well-being, and future integration into the European Union. After the 1990s, our country has undertaken and implemented a series of structural and institutional reforms in the direction of good governance. These reforms has aimed at increasing the effectiveness of the government, the performance of the public administration, and the best function of the public institution. Good governance promotes transparency, accountability, efficiency, and the rule of law at all levels of public institutions. The purpose of this study is to examine the impact of good governance on economic development in Albania. About the objectives of the study are: what relationship exists between governance and economic development in Albania? To examine the indicators that have an impact on good governance. To evaluate the impact of governance on economic growth and citizens' well-being. And what are the challenges in the future for better governance in our country? The methodology used for this study include three phases. The first phase includes a systematic literature review related to the purpose of the papers, such as research, reports, and books from domestic and foreign authors. The second phase includes the collection of data published by national and international institutions such as Institute of Statistics, Bank of Albania, World Bank, UNDP, OECD, etc. The last phase consists of data analysis, which is structured on the logic of the available resource related to the indicators that evaluate the quality of good governance. The 6 worldwide governance indicators have published since in 1996 by the World Bank are defined as follows: voice and accountability, political stability and absence of violence, government effectiveness, regulatory quality, rule of law, control of corruption. The indicators used in the statistical analysis, their symbols and data source are presented in this table. These indicators are GDP growth, voice and accountability, political stability, government effectiveness, regulatory quality, rule of law, control of corruption. About the result and discussion of this study, the main macroeconomic indicators in Albania are presented in this table. These indicators are GDP expressed in $1 million, GDP per capita, GDP growth, inflation in percent, unemployment in percent, foreign direct investment in percent of GDP. In these graphs are present gross domestic product in $1 million and GDP per capita. In these graphs are presented annual growth in percent of GDP and inflation according to consumer prices in percent. And these graphs are presented unemployment according to labor force in percent and foreign direct investment in percent of GDP. According to the above data, the gross domestic product for the year 2000 is $3,632 million. And for 2022, it is $18,882 million. While the GDP per capita for the year 2000 is $1,176. And for 2022, it is $6,803. Regarding economic growth in relation to the gross domestic product in 2000 is 6.67%, and in 2022 it is 4.840%. Referring to inflation data, it is result in a decrease from 2010 to 2020, where it is 1.62%. In 2022, it is 6.70% as a result of the increase in price at global level affected by the COVID-19 pandemic and the war in Ukraine. Regarding the data for the unemployment level, in 2000 it is 14.15%, and in 2022 it is 11.81%, with a decreasing trend. Regarding foreign direct investment for the year 2000 are 3.94%, and for 2022 it is 7.63%, with an increasing trend. About value of 6 governance indicators for Albania 2000 to 2022 period are presented in this table. Referring to the data in the table above, the values of these indicators as follows. Voice and accountability as a positive trend and values after 2004 and continues until 2022. This indicator has improved, positively influencing the quality of governance. Political stability and absence of violence had the negative values until 2012. From 2014 onwards, these indicators has a positive values and a significant impact on the quality of governance, which indicates political stability in our country. Government effectiveness had the negative values until 2014, while for the period 2016 and 2022, there are positive values. The improving values of these indicators show the government's efforts to increase the quality of public service. Regulatory quality has a positive trend and values after 2008. These indicators has a positive impact on the quality of governance in terms of the drafting and implementation of sound policies and the regulation that promote and support the development of the private sector in our country. Rule of law and control of corruption are the 2 indicators that have negative values for the entire 2000 to 2022 period. This means that although the rules and laws are well drafted, by the government, their implementation remains a problem. The rule of law and the control of corruption continues to be one of the main challenges for our country. As discussed above, we conclude in some conclusion and a recommendation. Developed countries like our country have experienced a long and difficult process of transformation from a centralized economy to a market economy. During these years, our country has implemented a series of substantial economic and political reforms in the direction of good governance as well to meet the requirement for EU membership. Good governance is an important instrument, especially in developed countries, because it significantly affects economic development. Albania has made significant progress in improving its regulatory framework and strengthening the rule of law, which has led to increased investment, macroeconomic stability, economic growth, and improved quality of public service. Good governance in this study is represented by 6 worldwide governance indicators as voice and accountability, political stability, government effectiveness, regulatory quality, rule of law, and control of corruption. Our findings prove that good governance, political stability, and public administration effectiveness are crucial for sustainable economic development in Albania. The result of this study can be useful for policymakers to understand how different aspects of governance affect the economic growth in the country. The government must ensure the rule of law to minimize corruption and increase the trust of citizens in public institutions in our country. Policymakers must formulate and implement sound policies and strategies that encourage and support private sector development that is important for economic growth. The government should focus on the implementation of policies and strategies that promote sustainable economic growth, reduce poverty and inequality, and increase citizens' well-being. The performance of economic development in our country is closely related to macroeconomic and financial stability, fiscal consolidation, efficient use of public resources, and the quality of governance. Strengthening public institutions, increasing the performance of public administration, transparency, accountability, and participation of citizens in decision-making processes are essential for a good governance. Thank you for your attention.